The question for the Module 4 discussion was describe how this 1905 Santa Fe Harvey Co leaflet for the Hopi House employs aesthetic conventions that we have studied. In addition, how does this cultural product depict the class status of indigenous peoples? Within the leaflet, the aesthetic convention of primitivism can be observed in the third and fifth paragraphs, where the Hopi and Navajo Indians' way of life is described. In these paragraphs, these two tribes are described as having a crude way of living, meaning that their way of life is in its natural or raw state, meaning unrefined or processed. Because of this, tribes like the Navajo were able to make beautiful baskets, pottery, and blankets that could not be produced by machinery that is seen as industrialized. As stated in Lecture 26, primitivism is a romantic notion stating communities like the indigenous peoples living closer to nature were morally and physically superior to industrialized societies. As shown in the leaflet, the difference between the white man and the Navajo's ability to produce lasting blankets is drastic. Due to their closeness with nature, the Navajo's blankets were seen as beautifully woven, lasting a lifetime, outshining the white man's, which resembled a cheap grade of carpet. This is due to their familiarity with the land, materials, and also their ancestral knowledge. Another aesthetic seen in the leaflet is the Western aesthetic. At the time, the West was a very popular place to tour, and the Hopi House was a main attraction for the elite class. As stated in Lecture 26, paintings and other works of art were highly sought after by artists, collectors, and anthropologists due to the idea of the vanishing Indian, which was soon that the works and lifeways of Indians would soon vanish. This was represented in the leaflet as the sales room with Hopi paintings, and the Navajo room are described as being one of the most important features of the whole Hopi House. By advertising these rooms, the leaflet directly employs the Western aesthetics and offered tourists a way to purchase and give in to their primitivistic fantasies. As a result, the indigenous peoples were depicted as an attraction or a spectacle. They were only witnessed for the audience's entertainment and sought after due to their belief that they were an endangered species. While the tourists were there for leisure, many indigenous peoples needed the labor to support their families. Therefore, they were depicted as low-income people, ultimately reinforcing the class boundaries between the elite and the low class.